Hello, everyone. Ian Hamilton with Good Virtual Reality here, and thanks for giving us your time today. In case you're new here, you can become a subscriber at goodvirtualreality.com. Many episodes of this podcast head out over email first to paid subscribers before publishing everywhere. Thank you to my founding members, paid subscribers, sponsors, and the donations I've received supporting the production of this independent journalism directly. Today, I'm joined by a representative of Cirrus Aircraft. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell me what you do today?
Hi, Ian. My name's Anthony Bottini. I'm the director of media for Cirrus, and I serve the entire media team. Basically, if you've seen a video or other certain multimedia from Cirrus, it's come out of our studio here at the Cirrus Vision Center.
What are you announcing this week?
Well, so we're super excited. It's a really new type of thinking and new type of product that we're going after here to help inspire the next generation of aviators, and that is a Cirrus Vision Pro. It's called the Let's Go Fly app. And it is a native app on the Vision Pro that's designed to let people go flying virtually in a really cool way. We're very excited about it.
So, why don't you tell me a little bit about the aircraft first, and then we'll hear more about the app.
We've been around for the better part of 30 years, and we sell primarily two lines of aircraft. One is a propeller driven reciprocating engine aircraft, five-seater, flies about 200 miles an hour, will fly the better part of 1,000 miles. And then the step up from that, the other line, is effectively the world's first single engine certified personal jet airplane. So it's a single engine jet airplane, flies at 31,000 feet, super fast, about 350 miles an hour. These are both regional travel vehicles. We call them personal airplanes for people all over the world that want to fly for themselves. If you've ever heard of a Cirrus airplane, the amazing innovation that put us on the map when we rolled out the first airplane was the built-in parachute, the ultimate backup safety system, where quite literally, it's called the Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, CAPS. If you're ever in some kind of unsolvable issue, in the very rare circumstance you're ever in that case, there's a big red handle on the ceiling of the airplane. You pull it, and a rocket fires out, and a parachute brings the entire airplane down to the ground. That was kind of one of the first innovations that we've had. The most recent one is what I kind of call the magical red button. If your pilot ever has an issue, you now push a red button on the ceiling of the airplane, and it turns into an autonomous vehicle and goes in and makes a landing, which is incredible. So we kind of sell and we try to inspire such a broad swath of people who have never thought about personal aviation. And we do it through these airplanes that are sleek, very car-like, and relatively easy to fly kind of once you know what's going on. So that's where I'm coming from.
Got it. So, who buys these planes, and what is your typical sales flow?
Typically, the kind of people we're selling to are people who truly want to fly themselves. They've been people that maybe have been obsessed with it their entire lives, the idea of flying yourself, being your own pilot, or they're people who have just kind of come across a travel challenge that they know they can solve themselves. They are the kind of like self-starter people who want to kind of take their traveling destiny into their own hands. But there are also people who they want to have their own personal airplane that's economical, but they don't want to do the flying. They go find a pilot, and that works out too. We've kind of both types of customers, but by and large, it's the person who really wants to get their hands on and do their own flying. And it's kind of a split scenario there. Many people will come to us looking for an airplane to serve their business. They have a ton of regional travel. The best example I can give you is somebody who owns a network of car dealerships. We've talked to that type of person a lot, and where it would have taken them 3 days of driving to visit their car dealerships, they get it all done in one by flying and going point to point to visit their network of dealerships. So they'll run their business with these aircraft regionally. And then, of course, as you can imagine, a huge constituency of people who are just at a point in life where they want to do their own travel to the beach. They want to take their family on vacation and do it their own way. And many times they're inspired because they love the airplane and they have this aha moment where they realize that, boy, if you're not flying in an airliner, then there are accessible airports, small airports everywhere where you can get really close to your destination and solve it yourself. So it's kind of business and pleasure reasons.
Got it. And how does this project or the Apple Vision Pro change the sales flow? How is it getting introduced? Because I understand your salespeople are all certified pilots and they often travel to local airports to meet with potential clients. How does the Vision Pro change what you're pitching or how you're pitching it?
Well, that's you framed it exactly right. If in the world of selling airplanes, if you're a salesperson, it's a pretty cool job because you're assigned a demo airplane and your job is to get out and fly that as much as you possibly can with people who are interested and have the means to buy the airplane, which works, and we have a global sales team that does that. But the place and where we're excited about this app and where we think it could be revolutionary to our process is, as anybody who's been in sales knows, step one is moving somebody's emotions and inspiring them to even the idea or even the consideration. And especially in aviation, I mean, for some people, that's a big leap that, hey, you could own your own airplane and fly yourself and change your life completely. In the abstract, that kind of sounds like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's the thing that people do. But if you can actually give somebody a real experience that creates an emotional impact, they start to understand like that's not just Tony Stark kind of wild ideas. That is a thing that people do every single day. And this is the world that I live in every day. But we have this huge amount of people out there in the world that could afford to and do have the right mission to be able to do this, but they've just never been inspired or we've never contacted them the right way. And so where we're coming from as an airplane sales organization is we're kind of limited to the airport. Like many times, the first point of contact that a potential customer will have with our aircraft or with our experience is looking through a barbed wire fence on the edge of an airport. And that's not a great way to start a conversation. And so, what we've done here is we've deployed Vision Pros across our global sales team with this app that includes an immersive film and everything else. And we're hoping what we've just given them is the ability to bring a strong, impactful, emotional flying experience outside of the airport, kind of for the first time ever. I mean, truly, to who knows the local upscale mall, some kind of home show, a boat show. Who knows where you could bring an aviation experience to the masses, as it were, to get people to start thinking differently. Because right now, in any given year, when we're selling aircraft, about 30% or so of the people that we sell aircraft to are completely new to aviation. And that is the number that we care about intensely. How many people are we selling to every year that are completely new to aviation, that aren't moving from another, manufacturer or aircraft or model or something and coming to us? But where are we actually growing the aviation pie? So that number is super important. And I think that kind of percentage is what we're always keying off of when we're trying to think of new creative ideas to get people who are outside of aviation, outside of personal aviation, into it. And I think we have a tool here that's going to move that needle a little bit. Everybody's kind of excited as we get going.
That's really interesting. I remember seeing Tesla roll out its stores into various malls all over the place, and Apple stores also followed the similar trajectory where they rolled out stores before they had products that could be accessed by a lot of people. So, I mean, Tesla
Yeah.
had these stores in various places where people could go in and sort of have that, what you're describing, that emotional experience of, oh gosh, this is what it would be like to have an electric car. They can take a test drive around the mall and feel that acceleration in one of the high end vehicles and know that in a few years there might be something more affordable or keep that in the back of their mind. Apple, very similar, they sell these high end premium computers, and it would be years before those first Apple stores opened for them to actually offer an iPhone that was a much more accessible device. It seems to me you're doing something similar in being able to sort of reach beyond the airport and bring the idea of aviation to more people. Was it a 7-minute immersive video? Tell me about the actual project and what people experience when they put on the headset and try this out. Because people at home can try this. They don't need a salesperson to tour them through it as well, right?
It is no joke, and let me reaffirm what you said there because you hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly it. Is that in fact your Tesla example is a very apt one because I sat in a Tesla in my local mall a few weeks ago, literally, and I've always been interested in Tesla cars, and that has been my first point of contact. Our problem is our version of Tesla also has big long wings on it that doesn't fit through the doors of a shopping mall. And you're hitting exactly the point is while everything that we do around personal aviation is so magical, and I know it and my colleagues know it and our salespeople know it, it is just so hard to get FaceTime with people outside of an airport. And so, yes, exactly right. That's what we're trying to do. I keep making up a silly number. I don't know what the number is exactly, but to me in my head, when I use this app, I'm getting like this 70% emotional experience as to what it is to fly the airplane and I fly our aircraft on a weekly basis. I mean, I'm very used to it. But every time I experience this app, I'm like, man, this is almost taking the place of a real airplane ride. Almost, almost. And so to answer your question, what the app is, it's called Let's Go Fly, and it is meant to be very simple and very accessible. First and foremost, it's been a tool for our global sales team to go inspire the next generation of Cirrus personal aircraft ownership. Boom. We've already solved that because the app in beta is already out with our global sales team on a bunch of headsets that they have and they're taking around. So okay, that part's solved. What's happening right now is we are also making the app available totally for free on the Apple Vision Pro store. And when you download it, I'll tell you, like, it's a sales tool, but it's also an app put out by very passionate lovers of aviation, which is Cirrus and everybody who works here. So I think of it as our free goodwill gift to aviation. If I picture a kid with a Vision Pro watching this app and getting inspired, I feel like that's also a big part of the goal and a big part of the job that we've done here is get people inspired. So if you have a Vision Pro, starting now, you can go download the app for free, and it's very simple. It's two big buttons. The first button is go watch a 7-minute fully immersive film. So again, for people who are kind of new to the Vision Pro and everything, this is not a 360 video. This is not even like a quote unquote spatial video. This is a fully immersive film shot on the Blackmagic Cine immersive camera. And you are going to go for a ride across the American desert Southwest and hit all of the most amazing sights that you could possibly see from an airplane. Horseshoe Bend, Grand Canyon, Sedona, Arizona. You go with one of our demo pilots, just like you would if you were flying in the real airplane. And if you've ever seen an immersive film from Apple, I promise you it is to that level of quality because the Blackmagic Cine immersive camera outperformed our expectations. I still can't believe like how good the quality was that came out of this. And just so you know, like a little behind the scenes on this, that film was shot with and we partnered with the same team, the same super talented aviators that did all of the aerial cinematography for Top Gun Maverick and just about most of the other large Hollywood films you've seen. They've covered most of the aerials on that as well. And we basically strapped two big immersive cameras to the nose and the tail of that chase airplane and shot this air-to-air immersive cinematography across the desert. You're going to be stunned by the views. But then we also give you a first-person view that we're constantly cutting to in the left seat, the pilot's seat, in our Cirrus SR-22T. SR series is the world's best-selling airplane in that class and has been for 20 years. So that is like the prototypical airplane that we consider is your personal airplane. And you sit there with Justin, our demo pilot, and you fly across the desert. And I'm telling you, the visuals are stunning. I still watch it today and I get goosebumps. It's super cool. That's step one. That's button one. Enjoy yourself. Get immersed. Get totally, totally inspired by that film. And step two is we've put our media team to work in creating incredibly detailed, incredibly realistic 3D models of both lines of airplanes, the SR series, the propeller airplane, and the Vision Jet, the single engine jet airplane. And in your living room, you can plop them right on the floor at full scale and you can walk through them and you will be blown away by how high fidelity those models are. It is truly like being in the real airplane. So step one, watch the film, get inspired. Step two, explore the plane you just flew in and have a good old time. And hopefully we move you to either eventually downstream coming and joining us and buying an airplane, or at least we've inspired you about personal aviation and you have a better sense for what it's all about. But something cool I think will happen if you experience the app and just kind of play around with it.
Got it. Yeah, the other thing that comes to mind is soaring over California, that experience at the Disney parks,
Yes.
very similar to what you're pitching here. It's that 70% of the full flight experience. That number you're sort of just picking out of the air and describing how close this comes to the actual aviation experience. And yeah, given that it's stereoscopic and 180 degrees, you're both outside the airplane and inside the airplane. It really does capture that whole vibe of going on that ride at Disney parks. And I guess my final question here, what kind of response are you seeing? Are you selling aircraft with this tool?
We have just gotten this going, like I said, with our betas that we've had out with our salespeople. And we've already had anecdotal evidence that we have a direct line of sale response to at least a couple aircraft sales through this experience. The way that has gone, because we get reports from our fielded sales team, the way that story typically goes is somebody comes to one of our events because we have these small and then sometimes large events all around the world at airports, off airports where we can. And the way that story has gone so far is they say somebody came to the booth. We've been flying this type of airplane for however long, never really looked hard at a Cirrus. And before they're even done with their sentence, we're just trying to pop the headset on them. We're saying, don't worry about it. Let this experience speak for itself. And the person takes off the headset and they say, whoa, I didn't realize it was this. I didn't realize the product was this. How can I learn more? And we have at least 2 or 3 examples of basically a direct line from a top of the funnel experience like that with the Vision Pro all the way down the sales funnel to a purchase or a promise of a purchase or something. And like I said, we just got started. What I'm so excited about is as we launch this app for free and we do better to democratize it and really get the word out there, I think we're all sitting back to kind of see what the unknown downstream impacts of making this available to the world will be. So, all initial signs are good. They're actually stronger than I thought they'd be at this point. And so now I think the next year is really going to be where we see if this thing can run for us as a brand new innovative sales tool that we use significantly.
Got it. Thank you so much for the time. Is there anything else about what you're doing or about what you think the space is between aircraft and VR headsets?
No, not too much. Otherwise, I would just say stay tuned because if we really kind of pick up some momentum with this app, we have a ton of ideas for the future about how we will build this app out, add more experiences, maybe add a little bit of training nuggets to kind of help people understand what it takes to become a pilot. And I think we can do a lot of that through this app. So right now, like I said, it's 2 buttons and kind of a straightforward experience. But stay tuned. There could be a lot more development going on. And for anybody that's listening to this podcast that is sort of interested in how VR and especially different spatial products and especially the Vision Pro at its real high level of fidelity and quality, how that sort of plays into the world moving forward. I don't have a lot of answers for people's personal use cases and everything else, but I would say as a representative of a business, I see a lot of really like practical, like we're saying here, sales uses, sales cases, experiential cases where if you need to move somebody, if you really need to show somebody something that they feel like they've never seen before, it has been the funnest part of my job here has been putting headsets on people who had no clue what was coming, and they understand that they're seeing something like they've never seen before. And that's a big deal. In the world of noisy media, that's a big deal that you finally have this tool that can kind of cut through most media experiences. So I think the Vision Pro, especially where I sit right now, does have potential to be a really strong business tool in that sense. And I hope we get to prove that out here a little bit because I love the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm hoping a lot of people have their eyes open to the market opportunities here and the way these things work. The $3,500 price of an Apple Vision Pro has been all the media has really talked about this product. And at the end of the day, I will never fly without my Apple Vision Pro in tow with me.
Right.
People forget that with a single first class ticket, transatlantic first class ticket can be in the price range of a Vision Pro product. And so like people can spend that many $1,000s on a single ticket to fly in supreme comfort. And what I've noticed with the Vision Pro is that I could be sandwiched in economy class in perhaps the most uncomfortable center seat. And I kind of forget all of that. I'm able to immerse myself in this experience that feels expansive. I'm not thinking about the people on either side of me. And I'm watching a movie as if I'm in a theater on a giant screen. And it ends up being worth it for that use alone. So you end up opening up people's eyes to this idea that, yeah, a personal aircraft is actually something people are doing, people are buying, and this is actually helping that sales flow to get more people into those planes is part of a narrative that I don't think many people really think about or realize. And I wanted to make sure we covered that today. So thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk to you in the future.
Yeah, that sounds great, Ian. Enjoy the app and let me know what you think about it.
All right, will do. Thank you so much.
Take care, sir.